Game On Magazine is chatting to Myles Brown, an exceptional swimmer. We have chatted to him before, but this is the first time we've done a video interview. Welcome, Myles. How are you today?
Yeah, thanks very much for having me. And yeah, no, I'm doing great, thanks.
That's good. Myles, let's just to start off, like I said previous, we have covered you before, but for the video's sake, how did you get involved in swimming?
Yeah, I think I got started in swimming in a very young age. It started out as a safety aspect. My parents wanted to make sure that if I'd ever fallen in a pool or got myself in a situation where it involved water, that I'd be able to kind of remain calm and feel confident about being around the pool. And yeah, just the love of being in the water grew from there, and I've just moved from strength to strength, and yeah, just basically living out my dream at the moment.
So basically, all your achievements can be put down to mom and dad being concerned that you might drown. So I think we should
Yeah,
say congratulations to mom and dad because you wouldn't be the swimmer you are today if they didn't do what they did all those years back.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, I owe so much to my parents and what they've done for me and all the sacrifices that they made, especially at such a young age. Obviously, getting me to training in the mornings and carting me to school and then back to training and what have you. So, I mean, yeah, without them, I wouldn't be the man I am today, and I wouldn't be the swimmer I am today.
No, for sure. Miles, when did you realize that you could actually do this as a professional sport? When did you realize that?
Yeah, look, it was always a dream of mine. I think I was in grade five when I decided, look, I wanted to be a professional swimmer, and I wanted to reach the Olympic Games and represent my country. And it's yeah, it's been a very long process, but you never really know that you're going to make it for sure. Obviously, there's so many different factors that come into play, and so many different things can happen. But I would say probably the first year out of school when I started making the open national teams and going to the World Champs and Commonwealth Games, where it kind of sunk in, and I thought, well, look, I can take this further and kind of make a career out of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Miles, talking about school, you finished school at Kearsley College. Let's talk a little bit about swimming at a school level. Is it is it where it should be, or can more be done in order to bring through the next generation of swimmers?
Yeah, look, it's always difficult, that kind of question and what have you, because obviously swimming as it stands at a national level isn't as big as the likes of rugby, cricket, soccer, those kind of sports. So to get it up there in the school level is very hard because very few people from a very young age say, look, I want to be a South African swimmer. It's always they want to play for the Springboks or the Proteas or Bafana Bafana. So it is very difficult to get people into swimming at a young age, and it is an extremely difficult sport. But I think swimming in South Africa, especially at school level, I mean, there are numerous schools where swimming's actually their strongest sport. The likes of Westfield Boys High, Durban Girls College. I mean, they're great swimming schools, and yeah, look, it's basically the school's responsibility to make sure that they are getting the swimmers in, and they're making sure that they still love the sport and are enjoying it. Too often schools are saying come for training or whatever, and it's normally a school teacher that doesn't know very much about swimming that just says, okay, do 20 laps of the pool and you can get out and go, and that's incredibly boring, just swimming up and down. You got to have different sets, you got to have different strokes, and I think it's vital to get the right people with the right knowledge into schools so that they're kind of nurturing young school swimmers' talents from a very young age.
Miles, you just mentioned that your mom and your dad have been a very strong base of support for you, but who else has been there throughout your career?
Look, I mean, obviously, swimming is quite a isolated sport. I mean, it's not, you don't have team members to rely on and what have you, but you grow up racing guys from a very young age, and very few of them stick throughout until the level that we're at the moment. So I mean, obviously, I got a few friends that I've been swimming with for ages now that have become really close friends and a great support structure for me. So I mean, other than my parents, obviously, I'd have to say my coaches, Graham Hill and DeLon Danhauser. They're two amazing coaches with very different aspects of coaching, which is very nice. They counter each other really well, and yeah, I think they've really elevated my swimming these last couple of years, and I definitely have to say my gym trainer Ryan Verdeman, yeah, he's just really helped me get that base strength that I need and try and get me so that I can swim the sprinter distances a lot better, and obviously that helps out for the 200 and 400. And yeah, without those three guys and my parents, I don't think I would be who I am today. And yeah, I think I owe everything to them.
Myles, you know, young athletes, when you're still developing your skills, look up to other people, not necessarily in your respective sporting discipline, but across the board. Who would you say are the guys that you looked up to when you were a young athlete?
And actually, I agree with you in saying that it's not always the people you look up to in your sports, but obviously from a young age, I loved all my sports. I played rugby, tennis, cricket, water polo. So, I mean, I had a very very wide interest in sport. I definitely have to say my dad is one of those inspirations. Incredibly hard worker, instilled such great ethics in me today, and yeah, like I said, I don't think I'd be the man today without him. Yeah, in the swimming circle, I'd definitely say Michael Phelps from America and Grant Hackett from Australia. I think both of them, in their different ways, have changed the sport of swimming and grown it in each of their countries and around the world. And then I definitely have to say Roger Federer is probably one of my favorite sportsmen. Such a class act, such a respected player, and the way he conducts himself is really inspiring. And if I could, I think, grow up and become the swimmer that he is, tennis player, would be an amazing fit.
Yeah. Myles, you've achieved a lot. Your CV is pretty impressive. And our viewers will be able to see it. We've attached 2015 and 14 achievements to the article because his achievements go back way, way long. So we're going to run out of space if we put everything. But you've traveled all over the world. I mean, last year you've won gold, silver, bronze in countries like France and Russia. What is it like to swim overseas and represent your country? I mean, it's an incredible thing that you're doing it, but what goes through your head when you're lining there up on the blocks ready to swim?
It's a huge honor representing your country, no matter what level it is. And to go over and race overseas and race the best in the world is a thrill that I think very few people actually experience, besides those adrenaline junkies. But it's really incredible swimming against the world's best, and to have the support of South Africa and your family and friends behind you is really motivating. And sometimes when you feel a bit down and out, it's knowing that those people are watching you and are behind you. It just gives you that extra little push and helps you to race even harder. And amazing. There's some awesome facilities that we've swum in and beautiful countries. And yeah, it's just great to know that we're representing a beautiful nation of our own. And yeah, just to make them proud is an achievement on its own.
No, for sure. Myles, what is your training like? I mean, you just recently qualified for the 2016 Olympics. What is your training like? I'm pretty sure it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, no, it's an incredibly tough schedule, and yeah, so basically it consists of 2-hour sessions, and yeah, that can range from anything between 5 and 8 kilometers a session, not a day, a session. Some days we hit 2 sessions a day. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we have double swim sessions. So we can hit anywhere between 10 and 16 kilometers that day. And then obviously we still have afternoon training on a Tuesday and Thursday. Much the same, between 5 and 8 Ks for that session. And then we also got our gym work and land work in, and that normally falls on a Tuesday and Thursday morning. And it's obviously what the gym coaches feels is necessary.
Yeah.
So that can range from getting your base strength into aerobic work and whatever he feels is necessary and whatever ties in with the swim program at the time.
Yeah.
And then so that usually takes between an hour and an hour and a half. And then we obviously have our last session on a Saturday morning, and that's probably one of the biggest sessions of the week. Normally consists of a Hungarian medley set, which Graham loves. And that training session lasts about 2.5 hours. So, I mean, we're heading about 10 swim sessions and 2 gym sessions a week. And yeah, pretty much after that, you're ready to rest up a bit.
No, for sure. Just to go back, you mentioned something about a Hungarian medley session. For the guys that don't follow swimming, what is that?
Yeah, so it's just basically the Hungarians are brutal trainers, especially in the medley events. So their training is more up and down, but absolutely brutal stuff. I mean, that their sessions are like close on 10 kilometers hitting during that session. So it's an incredibly tough workout, and yeah, we hit somewhere close to that on a Saturday morning, and yeah, it's really brutal.
Yeah, I can imagine you must be knackered after a Saturday training swim.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, after Saturday morning, you pretty much sleep through the weekend, and then got to get up and do it again on Monday morning.
Just to quickly touch on your eating plan, do you follow a specific diet?
Yeah, look, obviously, not a very specific one, but obviously I need to make sure that I'm getting the right nutrients into my body, and that's where things like supplements come in handy. But I mean, I've had a lot of younger swimmers coming to me asking about supplements, and it's not always about trying to get like the biggest muscles that you can. It's just about adding on that extra supplementation to what you're eating. I mean, food is the most important thing that you can put into your body. So for me, it's all about eating healthy, good portion of veggies, good low GI foods that last me throughout the day. I don't like to follow too specific because obviously when we're overseas, we don't really know what the food's going to be like.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to get into the mentality that if they don't have the things that I'm used to eating, then it throws my whole mental game out of shape. So I just like to make sure that I eat a well-balanced meal with plenty of veggies and make sure that I eat good portions so that I'm restoring my body to where it was before the session.
No, that makes complete sense. And I think also if you follow a strict diet, I think you get bored of the food after a while. If you're eating broccoli and chicken every day for your entire professional career, it's going to get boring after a while.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, obviously people have their different opinions, and for me, I like a wide variety in my food. And yeah, like you say, I don't think I could just survive on broccoli and chicken every meal.
Yeah. Myles, to go back to your achievements, one of the things I wanted to ask before we got into the training stuff, having swum in a lot of countries and a lot of competitions overseas, what is if you had to compare South African swimming to the rest of the world, how well are we actually doing?
Yeah, look, I mean, you go around to some of the facilities. I mean, especially in Europe and those and countries around there, I mean, swimming's on a whole another level compared to what it is here, and that's understandable. I mean, we've only really seen swimming take off now after the London 2012 games, and obviously we still got a long way to go. But I think in a way, having not so great facilities makes South Africans tougher. We used to swimming out in cold water in the mornings at 5 o'clock and battling the harsh winters and whatever. And I think that makes us tougher. So when we go over there and the water's 1 or 2 degrees colder when everyone else is complaining, it's still bearable for us. I mean, we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the adversity adds to one of our adds to our strength. And yeah, look, nothing's going to run according to plan, obviously, never does. But having to deal with hardships back here is I think beneficial to all swimmers. And yeah, I definitely like to see swimming pick up, especially now after the Rio Games, and hopefully the facilities can be bumped up and upgraded and get a bit more excitement back into swimming in South Africa. But with what we've got and the amount of swimmers that we take, I think we're doing a great job.
Yeah. Tell us, Myles, are you part of a special elite swimmers program that's being run by Swimming South Africa, or are you pretty much left to your own devices to train yourself? And so, how does it work?
So obviously there are different programs that you can get yourself onto, and obviously the top program to get yourself on would be the OPEX program.
Okay.
From SASCOC, which is the Olympic Committee in South Africa. And the way you get onto that is holding a certain world ranking. And if you meet all their criteria, they really do take care of you. They make sure that all your trips are paid for. They help you out with your living expenses, your coaching fees, your gym fees, everything like that. But there's also a great new program that's just started up here in KZN called the EADP program, and that's amazing. That's looking at helping us out, obviously with our coaching and gym fees, but also the recovery side of things, making sure that we've always got access to sports doctors, to ice bars, to physios. There's everything that we need, and they do their best to help us out. So we are getting good support, and without programs like that, we wouldn't be able to achieve what we are. So it's just great to have one or two development programs like that really do help us out and help us take our careers to the next level.
Yeah, Myles, tell us. I think you've already answered this question through your previous answer, but I must ask it anyway. I mean, your training is hectic. You're flying all over the world to swimming competitions. You have to eat properly. You have to recover. So I'm assuming it's safe to say that this is what you do full time. And if it is, are you able to live a decent life? Because I mean, if you compare swimming to stuff like rugby and cricket, the money is just not there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's to make a full-time career out of swimming in South Africa is very difficult, and unless you got an Olympic gold medal around your neck, it is extremely tough to get those sponsorships on board that can really help you out financially. And I mean, Cameron and Chad have done a great job, and obviously they've elevated the prestige of swimming in South Africa, and it's helped out the younger guys that are coming through the ranks with sponsorships. Obviously, swimming is more talked about nowadays, and obviously that helps out with sponsors. But it's an incredibly tough schedule, and when we're going through some of our toughest training schedules, I mean, there's not really much left to do after your training. And I think even if there was, you're so broken and tired and mentally drained that all you need to do is rest. And that's one of the most important things when you get to this level, is making sure that you recover as quick as possible.
You have a busy schedule. There's no lie about that. And it's what you do full time. But how do you find the time to lead a normal life? I mean, to have relationships, to have friendships, to be with family, to do fun stuff outside of swimming. How do you find the time for that?
Yeah, look, it's extremely difficult, especially with our really tough schedule. And it's not only when we're home; it's obviously when we go on trips for 2-3 months at a time that makes living a balanced lifestyle really tough. So I think it's important that no matter where you can, you're trying to do what interests you. For me, I love to play golf, to surf, hang around the bar, the pool with mates, and look, it's kind of tough doing that when you're overseas, but when we get back here, I mean, obviously we got the part of a day and a half of the weekend, and we try and organize a game of golf, or wake up and go for a nice surf on the beach if it's a nice day, or otherwise just chill around and have a bar with some mates. So it's vital to keep a balanced lifestyle. I mean, you can't always have your mind on swimming and constantly focus on that, because I think you will burn out, especially with with our really busy schedules towards the middle and end of the year. But yeah, look, it's like everything. It's all about time management, and you kind of got to make time. So for us, it's difficult during the week. I mean, we're extremely busy and extremely tired after our sessions. But yeah, on the weekend we got some time off, and that's where we try do the other things that interest us a bit.
No, but that's good to hear because we don't want you burning out on the greatest stage of them all come later this year. So it's good to hear that it seems you're not just physically fit, but you're also mentally fit, which I think is a very good thing, especially for elite athletes. Myles,
Yeah.
to carry on, I mean, you've done a lot, you've achieved a lot, you swam almost in every continent or almost every continent. What stands out for you the most? I mean, what is your most cherished memory?
Yeah, look, yeah, like you say, we've swum at some pretty amazing countries and traveled all over the world, and that's great. And sometimes it's not as luxurious as everyone thinks it to be, but I mean, obviously when we go to these countries, we on work, so we're doing what we do for a living, and but yeah, it's just traveling, seeing beautiful places that not a lot of other people our age would have seen, is just amazing, and you take it all in and you try and see as much as you can. And I think one memory that stands out for me is definitely Barcelona. It was my first World Long Course Championships. Swimming against the world's best. I'd never done it before, and it was the year after the Olympics, so it was everything was happening so fast, and it was an awesome experience. I made my first final, ended up coming fifth, and I mean fifth in the world. That my first World Champs wasn't too shabby, and yeah, it was a great experience, and I loved every minute of it.
Myles, on a lighter note, how many passports have you gone through with all your traveling?
Yeah, no, I think I've been through at least two or three, and yeah, every time we gotta pay extra for those extra pages and get a thicker passport. So whenever I feel someone else's, it's really thin, and I think like, how do you get away with this? But obviously they don't travel as much, so we got to make sure that we get the biggest passport we can.
Yeah. And tell us, in terms of the passport, I mean, because you're an athlete and what you're doing is basically work, when you have to go to countries that require visas, just out of interest sake, I just thought of the question now. What do you apply for? A tourist visa, a working visa? Do you even have to apply for visas?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it works the same as I think anyone else trying to get a visa. So obviously it does help out that we are representing our country, and that we're not always going in for such a long period of time. So what generally happens is the country's federation will normally be in contact with the embassies and the visa people, and let them know, listen, we're hosting a major swimming competition here. You're gonna have these swimming, and they kind of they make it a lot easier to get these visas through. I am very fortunate to hold a British passport, so for me, I don't require too many visas, so it makes it a lot easier for me. But yeah, traveling on a South African passport, obviously you need visas to a lot of places, and yeah, sometimes it is quite difficult, but they do kind of make an exception for us swimmers.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. Myles, you just said that you hold a British passport, which enables you to swim for England. Have you ever had thoughts of that, considering?
No, not at all. Yeah, I'm incredibly proud to be a South African, and yeah, swimming with the Protea badge on my chest is a great accomplishment, and it's something I've dreamed of since a young kid, and I love this country. It's a beautiful place, beautiful people, and we've got such diversity. I mean, why would you want to go swim for anyone else?
No, for sure. Just to go back, when I was going through your CV, you mentioned that some were long course meters and some were short course meters. Why are there different competitions? Why do you swim so? Because obviously there will be an Olympic standard, and I'm assuming it's not for both.
No, so yeah, like you say, there's a 50-meter pool which is classified as the Olympic standard. So an Olympic size swimming pool would be 50-meter pool. But obviously you also have 25-meter pools, and yeah, to be honest, I don't really know why they have the two, but it brings a different dimension to the sport of swimming. Obviously, the short course meters, which would be a 25-meter pool, is a lot more exciting. It's very, very close, very fast paced. It's a lot quicker than swimming in a 50-meter pool, and yeah, it brings a whole nother ball game to swimming. You got to focus a lot more on your tumble turns and your underwaters and your starts and finishes. And yeah, I think it's great that they have a different aspects when it comes to swimming. And yeah, but all the big medals are won in the 50-meter pool.
Talking about Olympic requirements and the fact that we've touched on your qualification, you've now qualified for the Rio Olympics. What went through your head when you qualified and you realized that that you might be going through to Rio?
Oh, look, I think at the time when I touched the wall and saw that time, it was such a huge relief. I mean, like you said, I just missed out in London 2012, and I had to wait 4 years to get the opportunity again. And yeah, I mean, I'd been swimming the qualification time quite consistently throughout last year and the beginning of this year. So I mean, I wasn't too phased about not getting the time. But I think the whole hype of the event and there's a bit of pressure that gets to you. I mean, if you miss now, you got to wait another 4 years, and yeah, it's just this is qualification for the pinnacle of your sporting career, representing your country at the Olympic Games. So it does add a little bit of pressure that you haven't really experienced before. But yeah, when I hit that wall, I was just so relieved, and yeah, I think now that all the emotions and feelings have subsided, and yeah, now I think I'm just extremely happy to have made the team and to be able to represent my country.
Now that you've qualified, your mental focus would have shifted to the Rio Olympics. Have you set yourself any preliminary goals at the Rio Olympics?
Yeah, look, obviously you got to have these little goals. Obviously now the kind of, well, the long term is now becoming the short term. But I mean, yeah, look, we've got a bunch of training camps and events that we will be swimming in, especially overseas, and obviously that's where you kind of tweak your performances. You work on things that need working on, and it's nice because it's very close racing. So I mean, it's not like you'll forget about what you need to work on, which is nice. And that's obviously where all the fine tuning happens, race wise. You're trying different things. You're seeing if this combination works with that, and if you need to go out harder or hold back a bit, and what have you. And yeah, I think that's vital. But obviously for me, it's just about going there, swimming as hard as I can, as fast as I can, having a good time, and trying to do my best and swimming personal best times. And like I said before, if I can do that, I can get myself into the final, and then yeah, anything can happen in the final.
No, for sure. Myles, in closing, if you had to say anything to younger swimmers that are still developing, what would you say to them?
Yeah, look, there's so many things that you could say, but I mean, I think the gist of it was just to do something that you love. When you get to this part of your career, it's so cutthroat and you got so many disappointments, but loving what you do and having a passion for what you do is going to get you through those hardships. And it's like anything in life. If you love and enjoy what you do, going through those tough times, it makes you push a little bit harder and get through. And obviously everyone faces those down times in their career. And it's all about how you get through them. And if you do it with the right attitude and you continually work hard and love what you do, I think you're going to get through it easily, and then you're just going to see your swimming or whatever you do get to the next level. And yeah, I mean, I've loved what I've done, and I've faced many hardships. I was a tiny kid when I was at school, and obviously everyone was bigger and stronger than me, but I had to work just way harder than them. I had to do more. I had to put in more effort. And I think that stood me in good stead, especially now. I mean, I feel I'm a very hard worker, and yeah, as long as you're giving everything you've got, I don't think you'll ever fail at life.
No, that's very good advice, Myles. On behalf of all of us at Gamer Magazine, we would like to thank you for taking time out of your extremely busy schedule to chat to us. We would like to wish you all the best for the upcoming Olympics, and we will be rooting for you from our TV screens in South Africa. So thank you very much.
Oh, awesome, and thanks very much for having me, and I appreciate your support.